Good afternoon, my name is David Lane. I'm out here with Zach Rose. Today's date is June 16, 2017, and we're about to perform a video inspection of the main line of 4708 North Stevens Street here in Spokane, Washington. Called out originally today to do a roof vent. Got the 125-foot cable in and got it all the way out and back, and then inserted the camera to check work and found that the line was still holding, and found a massive blockage in the 6-inch in the alley of roots. So we decided to move forward with the jetter after talking to the customer. Just got this line jetted and it's looking near to new right now. I'm going to give you a foot countage from the city sewer back. What we're looking at right now is a concrete city sewer that runs down the alley. Excuse me for 1 second. And what we're going to pull back into is what we call the hub. And the homeowner is responsible for everything from the hub back. And this is a concrete hub. This attaches the main line to the city sewer. And here we transition right from the clay tile pipe into the hub. You can see that the clay tile pipe is in some disrepair. There's a stress fracture and crack. My camera lens is 1.5 inches thick, so we kind of use that as a measurement. That was not a horribly big chunk, but over time that can worsen. You'll always be able to tell where the bottom of the pipe is by where the water is, and also by where my camera lens light is. Now we pull into 6-inch clay tile pipe. The most problematic areas for clay tile pipe are the joints. You can see this joint right here. Over time the ground settles, and the joints separate and offset. You can see some separation there and some offset. The good news with this separation and offset is that it stair steps down. When they stair step up, they can become a real problem because water starts pooling there. Going through another one. This is a very large offset. You can see the edge of the downstream pipe there, and again, it's very fortunate that this thing stair steps down as opposed to stair stepping up. We're 7 feet from the city sewer. Pipe looks great. You can see where our jetter hose really scoured the pipe and cleaned it up really well. And those offsets and separations become prime places for roots to grow in. And I believe that this is probably the joint where that massive root intrusion was. You can see now that we knocked down all of it. It was growing all the way across the pipe, and that's what was blocking the pipe up. As well as we also pulled out wipes and feminine paper products. You can see the water pooling here. We never want water standing in our main line. We rely on a 1/4 inch drop per linear foot, and when we lose that, or there's an offset where water's pooling, then we flush our toilet and our solid waste and our toilet paper starts traveling down the pipe, hits that standing water and stops, and is not carried out to the city sewer. And there's an offset that stair steps up. You can see the water pooling there. Bits of debris there in the bottom of the pipe. We're 27 feet from the city sewer. By the way, we jetted from the roof vent and we are cameraing through the roof vent. We've pulled into 4-inch clay tile. Normally it jumps from 4 to 6 at the property line. So from the property line to the city sewer it's 6. From the home to the property line it's 4 inch. The pipe looks great. There was roots at probably every other joint on average, and we just pulled the jetter back and jetted each and every joint. Pipe's looking great. You can see where some roots were growing in there. Knocked those out. I like to say annihilated them. "55 feet from the city sewer." I pulled the permit. The permit is 1937. Taking that into account, the pipe looks great. There's a few offsets, a couple, stress fractures, but other than that, this pipe is in pretty darn good shape, if I do say so myself. There was a pretty large root intrusion here. You can see where we worked it real good. Knocked it all the way out. As well as there. Just some little hangers on there. Nothing to be concerned about. Here we have a pretty large crack right at the joint there. We also had a root intrusion here that we knocked out. We had to hold back and lay off it because we saw that crack there. Just a little hanger, roots hanging on there. Nothing to be concerned about. The closer we get back to the house, the less PSI we were able to shoot. We had some big roots here, and we risked shooting at 3. Worked out good. We got the roots cleaned up real well. "95 feet from the city sewer." Should be, yep, here's where we transition from clay tile into cast iron. Normally the cast iron stubs out from the house 3 to 5 feet. And then we transition into clay tile pipe. We'll be cast iron all the way back. We're inside the foundation and under the floor now. There's just a crawl space. Excuse me, that looks like real clean cast. Alright, here's our cast iron, excuse me. Here's where we transition from tile to cast iron. Excuse me for that. We are going under the house now. We're about 109 feet from the city sewer. Alright. Going around the bend, and we are coming up the roof vent now. We've gone vertical. The water is now pooling off the end of my camera. So from the city sewer to the 90, it's 109 feet. We're pulling up the roof vent now. Alrighty, and there's the roof vent. Again, my name is David Lane. I'm out here with Zach Rose. Today's date's June 16, 2017, and this will conclude your video inspection of the main line of 4708 North Stevens Street here in Spokane, Washington. Thank you very much for choosing Bulldog Rooter.